I will start this review by saying that I really like the Asetek Invicta pedals, but there are a bunch of design choices done on these pedal sets, besides being hydraulic, that will be complete deal breakers to plenty of sim racers. Anyways, Asetek sent the Invicta S for review, and I have an affiliate link with them. My first interaction with the Asetek Invictas was back in Sim Racing Expo 2022. I know I'm extremely late to this review, but this means I have no time restraints doing this review and I can have a bigger, fuller picture. Let's just say in the way that they were set up in the Sim Racing Expo 2022, even Sim Racing Expo 2023, and the way they come out of the box, it's not a pedal set that I like at all. At that stage, I'm not impressed by them. It's basically like hitting a wall and you do you. That's not my type of pedals. There are two flavors of the Invicta. There's the regular Invictors, where the throttle and the brake pedal are fused together, and then there is this S version where they are separated. The S that we have here is 1,000 euro, and the regular Invictas will be 950. Also, there is an option for a clutch, and that clutch will cost around 350 euros. If you want to upgrade the Forte pedal set into the Invicta, you need to just buy the module, and that will be 375 euros. And everything together, it'll be more expensive than any pedal set that I've reviewed thus far in this channel. Though subscribing is free, and I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, so press that button below. This pedal set is adjustable, but it's not the most adjustable pedal set out there. There are significant limitations. That's why I'm saying a lot of sim racers will not like this. Let's start with the throttle pedal. And the throttle pedal, it is very well built. In terms of craftsmanship, you see a lot of details well done. If you turn it upside down, you'll see the construction is not the same at the bottom. It'll have this plasticky film over here to protect the bottom. We have access to the electronics, and this is where the throttle pedal has a cable going out. And this is where some of the installations parts, I do not like this pedal set at all in the Invicta format, because these clamps over here, they are very easy to bend, and you do need to make sure that the cables are properly routed through the bottom. For this pedal set, everything that is set at orange is adjustable. You can adjust a little bit of the tilt of the throttle and the brake, so you can add a little bit of a tilt and then use the orange part. You rotate it and set it into place. You can also do the same on the other side, see, to minimize the travel of the throttle if you feel like it. You can also change the preload by tightening up the spring. You can also change a little bit of the pedal faces up and down. There are a couple of bolts over here, and you can move this around. But in terms of outright ergonomics, we can already see one problem, and this was my biggest ergonomical problem that I had in these pedals. In reality, it's something that I also have in the Forte, is that they are extremely perpendicular to the floor. Most of the pedals will have some sort of a tilt. This one is extremely parallel. That means if you don't have a sim rig that will have a pedal base where it can be moved, if possible, to a negative degree, this might be an uncomfortable pedal set. For the brake, in terms of construction, is incredibly similar. It is basically the same construction, but there are a couple of things that you will need to notice. First of all, even if you have zero play in the system, that means if you have this setup if you didn't have any distance between the brake caliper or the brake pads and the brake disc, there will be always a little bit of movement in the brake pedal assembly over here. And also this system over here at the back, it will go around left and right a little bit. I am told that this is by design. On the bottom, we have the cable spaghetti, and this cable spaghetti, in my opinion, is an absolute nightmare. They need to be routed through, and of course, you do need to mount it. And in my opinion, I think the electronics, or where the cables should be, they should be at the top and not at the bottom. It was a little bit of a nightmare trying to assemble this, making sure that the cables weren't pressed and cut. You know, it's quite easy to make a mistake, just as it is easy to make a mistake if you pull this as well. So these cables are incredibly flimsy. It's I think a design choice that they've made that I don't think it's correct. This is the electronic box. In my opinion, the electronic box should be routed to the top and not to the bottom to make everything simpler. Enough of construction, let's talk about the thing that basically matters with this pedal set, which will be this hydraulic system called Thorpe. Essentially, you do have a two-stage hydraulic system, if I understand this correctly. You press the brake, and then this part on a slave cylinder will compress an elastomer that will be inside. So that means if you want something that is very, very rigid, you essentially change the elastomer. If you want to change the elastomer, it is incredibly simple. Remove the counter screw over here and then remove the other one. And then you will have the access to the elastomer, which will be at the back. This is also where you can customize the brake travel. Asetek, as with the pedals, something that travels roughly 2.5 centimeters, but they also offer this long travel kit that you can insert inside, and this will offer 1 to 1.5 centimeters extra. It's still incredibly short, but for a lot of people, including myself, this could be the difference between liking the pedal and not liking the pedal. This is the movement you're going to get with the regular travel kit, and this is with one of the softest elastomers. As you can see, the movement isn't really that big. And this is the movement with the long travel kit. As you see, there's much more, and this is with the same elastomer. In terms of customization options, Asetek offers a few things. We have an elastomer set that they have. There's 3 elastomers inside. Most of them are very stiff. If you want a really soft elastomer, you do need to buy the extra pack. And then they also have a stiffer spring if you need to. In my case, this was good enough, but if you need a stiff spring for your throttle, you need to get an extra one. And then, of course, the long travel kit. This is the short one, but the long travel kit is something that might be something to consider if you like long brake pedals. These pedals use race hub, just like any other Asetek hardware. You can do pretty much everything that you need to do for using your pedals. You can check if the pedals are working. You can add dead zones, and you can also calibrate them. These pedals will report in bar, and Asetek will have on their website more or less information how much kilograms are into bar. So if you have, for example, right now an Asetek Forte and you want to go for an Asetek Invicta upgrade kit, you understand more or less what you need to use in order to have more or less the same feel. You can use pedal maps, and if you want to, on the LEDs, you can change the LED color. It will be over here automatically indicating, and you can also check on your feet as well. However, this is kind of gimmicky, just like the gimmick of, pressing the throttle, and the game will tell you how much throttle it is, and the LED will be changing colors as well. You won't be looking at your feet, and even if you're using a camera on top of it for streaming, the use is very limited. The throttle has the least stories to tell. It is smooth and precise, set up to your taste. It is dependable to a point you really don't notice it. It's just an extension of you. It's more on a soft side, but that can be, of course, changed with preloads or a new spring. The brake, however, is a more difficult experience to define and to explain because this is an hydraulic pedal set, and hydraulics work a little bit different. The acceleration curve of this is a little bit different that you'll be accustomed to on the load cell, because there's an elastomer at the chamber in the back. When the elastomer compresses until it can compress no more, that's though called the first stage. Everything else that you applied after the compression, they call it the second stage. And there are a couple of ways to use this first stage, second stage in different strategies that can help you to actually improve your lap times. The first stage will be generally about trail braking in all strategies, and there are a few strategies to use. The strategy that I use for braking and how to operate this hydraulic system is that I use the first stage to tell me where is the 100%. When there's no more compression and the pedal cannot move any longer, for me it's 100%, and I don't go past that because I don't have any G-forces to tell me what is the absolute rate of deceleration, so I play with that. Another way to use this is to use the first stage as just trail braking, then you hit the second stage, and from that point on it's muscle memory, and then you have another choice, which is a hybrid of both, which is The first stage is trail braking as well, but then you hit the second stage, and that will be the limit of the ABS or the limit of braking in non-ABS cars. So there's plenty of choices to make. The very short throw of this pedal set is something that Asetek talks about a lot, including Andre on their videos, because it's race car-like. They have done a couple of videos about this already. You know, GT3 car brakes have a large travel. They say, anyways, you know, if it's long travel, short travel, race spec, mil spec, doesn't really matter at all as long as it provides you what you need to have. But having said that, the short travel does have an advantage that I found, as long as, of course, you adapt to it, is that you can go from 0 to 100% really, really fast. And that means it takes you less time to get 100%. In theory, you can brake a few meters before, which in theory will bring you better lap times. In practice, I have found, compared to, for example, with my Talentos, within a few hours, I was already getting to the times that I have with my IMSIM Talentos. And in a couple of days, I was already beating those times by a second or so in Nordschleife, of course. But of course, this could be the fact that it's related just with training or something like that. But that tells you that these pedals, coming from somebody that has been using low cell pedals for, I don't know, almost a decade now, you can do the transfer into an hydraulic set like this. And as long as, of course, you like the movement of this being very short, it can get to your times and even improve of those. So in reality, in my experience, besides all the marketing bullshit out there, I think that the shorter travel throw, as long as your muscle memory, and this is really important, as long as your muscle memory is able to adapt to it, you can actually exploit that to shorten your brake times or your reaction time to 100% brake force or to 100% maximum force on the system. And that can give you maybe a tenth or two if you're very good around the lap. That can take you, seconds out of a race. One last point I would like to raise are about these small ridges at the heel rest. These small ridges can actually get your shoes caught, and that wasn't something that I found really comfortable. So I imagine when you get another set with the clutch and you put everything together, or you put the distance that you need to have it for, heel and toes, all of these depressions will be incredibly annoying on your shoes. Fortunately, I don't have the clutch to test, but I don't see this being very good. In my opinion, if Asetek provided something that was a little more flush, or something that you could put on top of this and make it a little more traditional, and that will make your pedal sets more comfortable, because, it's not a comfortable pedal set at all. In essence, my experience tells me that this is a mechanically faultless piece of equipment. I don't have anything to complain in terms of what the mechanics are, in terms of how it operates. But from that point onwards, there are a few decisions over here that, just like I said in the beginning of the video, that will be a complete nightmare to plenty of sim racers. The ergonomics are not very good. The way that you attach the cables is not very good. The heel plate is not very good in the distance between them, because you don't have a decent heel plate. All of these small niggles, overall, that can create you a big issue, even if the mechanics of this are fantastic.